Hey, welcome back to This Is Just the Beginning podcast. Now, it's been a fat while since I've done any kind of episode, but yeah, I thought today would be a perfect day to kind of get on to the mic because I'm back at uni now and it's now February and things have definitely changed in my life recently. And I don't know, this episode is kind of going to be one just about me getting out my thoughts and feelings. And I hope it does help other people. But I am going to say now that it might be a bit kind of like triggering for some people, just because I'm talking about my current kind of realizations in my eating disorder recovery. So if you hear that kind of phrase and you're like, actually, no, I don't want to listen to this, like switch off now. But this could potentially help you because I think this is something that a lot of people don't really talk about. And I know that people don't talk about it because I'm struggling with it a lot, and yet I follow so many positive pages on Instagram, etc., who obviously are like eating disorder recovery pages and other people recovering and just advice and tips, etc., kind of like what I'm doing but bigger accounts. But yeah, so it's Sunday and I've gone back onto, well, this morning I've gone back onto my like green blend drink thing. Um, like all the powders that people are kind of putting into like water. I don't know, you've probably heard about it. I've got the My Protein one and it's like peach flavoured and it's really good and it's just such a good way to get your greens in the morning because I've noticed, well, no, my diet is really healthy. Like, I have definitely found, if I'm going to go kind of straight into it, I've definitely found a balance between eating healthy because I genuinely love healthy foods. Like, everyone knows that about me. I've always been a healthy eater. Obviously, that went very wrong, but I've loved healthy food. Like, I'll always choose, like, I love a Caesar salad. So I'll always choose a Caesar salad over a pizza. But then some days I want the pizza. You know what I mean? Like, I know balance. But yesterday, the Six Nations rugby was on, and people I live with are not rugby fans. It's kind of just me because my whole family is a huge rugby family. So I was just really excited because I have not watched rugby in so long. So I thought, right, the first match is at like 2 o'clock. I'll just go to the kitchen, put it on, and see if like anyone else joins me. And only one person did. Yeah, everyone else walked in and then just walked out when they saw rugby, and I was like, what the hell? Because I want the same vibe during the Football World Cup. Like, I know Six Nations isn't as big, but it's the first tournament of the year, so come on, guys. I want to culture them into rugby. But anyway, I was sitting watching it, and we were going to go to the pub to watch the England match. But I was like, you know what? Let's just get some, like, snacks and a couple drinks here, and just kind of watch it here, then have, like, a good night here. Because the match was on at, like, 5 o'clock, so I was like, okay, we got loads of snacks, just crisps, bagels, and we just sat there for the remainder of the day and just ate them. And I was just kind of thinking, God, I'd never be able to do that. And since coming back to uni, literally like last term, I gained weight because, and yeah, okay, ignoring that, I'm going to move on to the weight gain thing. I'm sorry that just went down on a little tangent, but last term at uni, I was on the pill and I was gaining weight regardless of the pill. Although what annoys me is that I don't know how much weight I've gained from me actively choosing to gain weight, if you know what I mean, because I was put on the pill, which obviously messes up with your weight situation, makes you bloated, makes you puffy, etc. I was put on it, and for obvious reasons, but I gained quite a bit of weight, and at the start I was so happy about it because I was like, finally I've gained weight, because all summer I tried to gain weight and I did. I looked healthier, but I didn't gain the weight I wanted to because I wanted to I wanted to hit a certain goal and I just wasn't hitting it. So I know last time, that's, I don't know why this is kind of hard for me to talk about just because I talk about it quite a lot with people, but to voice it on like social media is quite difficult for me to like articulate. But I gained weight and it was a mix between obviously the pill, that was, I think that's the biggest thing, and I'm really annoyed that I'm just never going to know if this weight gain is from me or the pill. But I was definitely I was being very healthy at the start, so I was having my 3 meals a day, snacks, whatever, super healthy because I loved cooking for myself again. Towards the end, it got to winter, and I think I mentioned on my last couple episodes that the winter blues has hit me so hard this year, or like this winter. I don't know why, because every other winter for the past few years has been obviously just, in my mind, the only negative thing is just eating disorder, and it's never been other feelings, so it's been so goddamn difficult for me to like get through the winter blues, and I've just been so low the past few months because yeah, I've just never had to deal with other emotions before, so I just didn't know what was happening. And obviously, being on the pill does not help with your emotions and hormones, etc. So I was not in a good place at the beginning of the year. But, you know, I'm kind of getting better, I think. And I hope that voicing this here will help me get better. But towards the end of the last term, we were starting, like, instead of doing dinner, like, me and my friend would do, like, cheese board, and we ate a lot of cheese, and I was having a lot of snacks, and, like, sitting down kind of from, like, 3 p.m. to, like, I went to bed in the kitchen, just chatting, watching stuff, and I love that, because I've never, ever done that in my life, and the fact that I could do that was just, I loved it so much, and it just really showed, even if I didn't think I was in a good stage in recovery, I was. And last term was just so good for me. And then obviously over Christmas, same thing happened. Obviously Christmas, everyone kind of gains weight anyway. I mean, last year I didn't, but this year I did because I enjoyed myself. And Christmas Day, I think I talked about this, I'm not too sure. But Christmas Day, I kind of had not a meltdown, but at the end of the day when all the family left, I started getting really upset because I don't know how to put it, but for some reason in my mind it thinks that every Christmas is supposed to be a day where I feel sad because I haven't been able to enjoy myself, etc. Because that's just what I'm used to. And I've realised that habits stay with you, good or bad. And on top of that, I realised with the whole, this is what I'm used to feeling. So my mind was like, oh, it's Christmas Day. For the past few years, you've hated Christmas Day. You can't enjoy this. And I did enjoy it until that thought crept into my mind. And I was like, oh shit. And I said that to my mum, and I was like, I thought this Christmas would be so much better. And obviously the day was better. But I was like, I thought I was past this. And she was like, well, no, this is just what you're used to thinking, so you've got to rewire your brain. And then I also realised, on top of this habit thing and the way I'm used to thinking, every time I want to drop out of uni, I never know the reason, okay? And it happened again in January, and I did talk about it, I think in my last episode, and I just did not want to come back. I was in such a mess for the whole first week, and all I wanted was my boyfriend to be here, but he had, like, you don't understand, he's final year architecture, and he has so much goddamn work, and he's someone who loves getting like straight A's kind of student, or firsts or whatever, and he just puts all of his effort into his work, and I bloody love his work ethic. But that week, I was like, I need you. I kept like phoning him, like, I'm not joking, I cried 2 days straight because I was just so lost and I didn't know what to do. And my parents were on holiday, my sister was in Bath, and I just didn't know what to do, and I just kept phoning him like, I want to come over, like, I want to drive over right now, and he just kept saying no, and I should have just gone, thinking about it, but I respected that he needed to do work, so I didn't go. But at the same time I was like, I'm in a mess right now, and he's saying no. Anyway, moving on. But I've kind of connected to uni to, the very first time I didn't want to go to uni was the August before I actually went in 2021. God, that's such a long time ago now, oh my god. Because I was like, I cannot go to uni. I said this to my parents, I was like, I cannot go, and my mum agreed. Because I'm not in a good place right now. I cannot look after myself alone, and I was worried that, obviously living alone and away from my parents who were really helping me kickstart recovery, I just literally go back into really bad habits, and I was so scared to go. But I went, and every time I want to drop out or I don't want to go back, I always go. And I think this is why, because the very first time I didn't want to go was because of my eating disorder. The next time, was like, after term 1, I was like, I'm not going back. And I was just so low. Didn't know the reason, again. So I was like, just not knowing the reason, and that's what got me really, really down about it, because I was like, there has to be a reason. And my parents were like, there has to be a reason. But there wasn't a reason, I thought. Something happened again over the summer. Didn't want to come back. Didn't know why. Especially in the summer, I was in such a good place in recovery. But we'll get into the reason why, don't worry. And then this year, January, I didn't want to come back. And I have realised that it's the same with the Christmas Day thing. In my mind, it's like, you have to think that you're not in a good place. As in, like, you have to think that your eating disorder is still you, like, it's still controlling you. Because that was what I thought the very first time I didn't want to go, if you know what I mean. So my mind is, like, used to habitually thinking like that. And that took me so long to realise. And I'm just thinking, wow, the mind is so powerful, yet so odd. I was like, why don't I want to go? So that's kind of one thing I wanted to touch on about my current situation in recovery, and how my eating disorder definitely still has a huge, like, control over me, even if it's just so subconscious and I don't realise it. Now I want to get into the main crux of what I think is not talked about recovery. And, like, don't get me wrong, I feel like people do talk about it, but I haven't seen enough about this. So I've been in kind of, like, active recovery since April, May, like, end of April last year. And let me tell you, it's been a wild ride. I started off in kind of, like, pseudo recovery, where I was like, yeah, I'm eating 3 meals a day, but it was all healthy, and it had to be at a certain time, and it was still very OCD, because my OCD was born out of my eating disorder, you know, like needing to go to the toilet before I eat, making sure there's no noise around me while I eat, it has to be clean, etc. And, like, eating, I used to eat like 1 mouthful every minute, and fucking hell, like, thinking back, I'm like, why? Anyway, but all of those little niggles happened around then. So that's kind of what was the start of my recovery. I was just doing it very falsely, and my sister realised that, because I wasn't gaining weight. And I mean, that didn't last long, because then summer hit, and I was going on holidays where, like, I had to eat different things, different times, especially going on holiday with my dad, who's, like, bigger than me, he needs more food, and, you know, like, it just kind of happened that way. And I was working, so I kind of had to eat, and I was on a residential trip, so I had to eat what they gave me, which was, like, because there was a lot of activities, it was, like, heavy carbs and just big meals. And that was the start where I was like, wow, I can really do this. Because it was, like, breakfast as soon as you wake up, and I'm like, I've never done that before, but I did it because I knew that I had to have that energy because I was working. And then coming back to uni, I have definitely changed my mindset a lot around eating and exercise. Obviously, it's gone up and down, but towards the end of last term, I've definitely improved. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm in a very sticky situation right now in my recovery and in my mindset with it, but back last term, it was just so good. And I was just so happy that I was recovering, and I could sit all afternoon and eat just snacks all day long and have cheese board for a whole week straight. And yeah, I don't know, I was just so proud of that moment. And, like, when I go with my boyfriend, if we go on a night out, we come back and order pizza, like, you know what I mean, just things that I'd never think about doing, and I literally do it because food is a social thing. Like, if you can't do that, then you're missing out on the social aspect and memories, like cheese board with your girl best friend at uni kind of thing, and pizza with your boyfriend at 1 a.m. because you want it and you're a bit drunk, and, you know, it won't hurt you if you do it every now and again. And at the start of our relationship, we did it, like, every night we went out, and we went out quite a lot in the summer. So I was feeling a bit bad, but that was obviously the very start of my weight gain, and that probably did help in a really good way. And in my mindset, like, yes, you can have pizza, like, twice a day, it's fine. But recently, recovery has got really, really goddamn difficult, and I don't know what sparked, like, in my mind right now, I've gained the weight that I wanted to gain. So, and for me, recovery was all about weight gain. And now that I've gained it, like, I've voiced this to so many people, and I did a blog post about this, and it's just about the feeling of being stuck and just lost, because my goal was to gain weight, and I've gained that weight, a little bit more than I wanted to, in fact, and I'm proud about that. Obviously, there are the days where I cry about the weight I've gained, and I think that's just natural in recovery. And I was speaking to my sister about this, and she was saying the days you are low about it is because you have a completely new body, a body you've never ever had before, because I've never been this heavy, in quotation marks, like, I don't like that word, but I've never been at this weight before, and I'm a healthy weight, and it amazes me that I've never been at a healthy weight before. And she was like, you're a woman, you're gonna have curves, you're gonna have a belly, a bum, boobs, whatever. Being on the pill definitely exaggerated that in a good way. Like, I like that my boobs have grown, etc. But she was like, you're getting to know a new person, kind of. Like, you've got a new body, and even, like, she looks at me and she's like, wow, like, your body is completely different in a good way. And she's so right, like, I am getting to know, like, a different person. And I'm trying to find that spark to enjoy that again, because it's so fun to get to know someone new. I don't know, if you get a new friend, it's so fun to get to know them, and it's kind of like that situation. So I'm definitely trying to romanticize this pain I'm feeling about it. But I think a lot of people, I want to say, and they don't voice it, but when you do hit that goal weight in recovery, you do kind of think, well, where am I supposed to go from here? And my mum, like, because, I don't know, I've gained the weight, so do I still have to challenge the ED thoughts? Like, do I still have to say yes to that cake if someone offers it me? Or do I still have to eat those 3 meals a day even if I'm not hungry? Or even if I think, no, I don't need it because I've gained weight, I don't need 3 meals a day. Yeah, everyone tells me that regardless of if you have an ED or not, you need 3 meals a day. And I don't know, it's just like, do I still have to say no to a second workout in the day, even if I'm craving a workout, or like, if someone wants to go to the gym with me, even if I've done one already, you know what I mean? I'm just so lost. Like, do I still have to keep challenging the ED, or can I go back to kind of like eating just when I want to? But my mum said, like, no, you've still got to keep like pushing through with recovery for at least another year. And that, like, I was on the phone with her for an hour about this, and that made me cry, because I was like, oh my god, this is so much harder than I thought. And I knew that recovery wasn't going to be so linear or straightforward in any way, but it's been 9 months now, and obviously I'm in such a better place, but the thoughts are really coming in so much louder now. Like, you've got to lose weight because you've gained weight. That thought is in my mind a lot, and it's really tiring to try to push that out. And I don't know, like, I'm trying to change the mindset of losing weight to, I want to tone up, but then through that could become very toxic, because I might be going to the gym more and eating less carbs, kind of thing. And you know what I mean, I could just change my whole routine again, and like, I don't want to change anything, because I know that I'll latch onto that as another coping mechanism, because I'm not in a good place mentally right now. And I think that's why all of this has kind of crept in, because everything's calmed down after Christmas, and you come back into reality, and it's even a stronger wind of reality. So I just don't know. It's a really difficult one for me. And what's also still annoying me is that I'm still hungry a lot of the time. And I noticed it, what is it today, Sunday? On Friday, I gave into those thoughts of not eating breakfast, and I had like a 10 a.m. lecture, and I hate that timing, because I usually eat between like 9 and 10. So, and usually I take like overnight oats with me onto campus, and I can eat it on the bus on the way to my lecture. And I pushed away positive thoughts and just latched onto my restrictive thoughts, and I took a banana with me. And I was so hungry, okay, and I eventually had lunch. I didn't finish lectures till 2, so I had lunch at 2. I did have a break at midday, but I said, no, you've got to eat at 2. And I just kept going with those thoughts, but And it was just a salad as well. It was a big salad, but just a salad. And I came back from campus, and I think I ate my lunch on the way back from campus, but I was still hungry, and I was hungry all afternoon, even though I ate like at 2:30, and I just realised, I was like, Ellie, that's so stupid, because you've missed out on a meal in the morning, so now you're really hungry, and then not eating till dinner, because obviously you want to have dinner. And yeah, it just really annoyed me that I gave into those thoughts. And today I woke up and I'm like, I'm not going to have breakfast today. And that is just really annoying me that I'm thinking that. Because I know that if I do go get breakfast, half my brain will be like, you failed. And I know that people who suffer with EDs definitely have this validation, acceptance, high achieving, anti-failure mindset. That's kind of the kind of person eating disorders target, I guess, and I have noticed that a lot. Although it's not really with my work. During my ED, like during A levels, yeah, okay, I was working so much and I wanted to get A stars, and I did. I don't know if that's from teacher assessed grades, COVID, I don't know, but I got the grades I wanted. But at uni, I think it's my degree, like, honestly, I just don't work. And it's really bad because it's starting to show in my, like, papers I get back, but I don't know, I really don't know, because I love my course, but then at the same time, it's not challenging me enough. Yeah, I'm getting 50s in the papers I get back, because it's like research papers, and I'm 19, I haven't done that before, so of course I'm not going to get good marks. So I'm not even going to ask my friends what they got, because that will make me feel bad about myself, because I did put a lot of work into those papers as well. But it is kind of like that failure aspect that my ED brain latches onto. Like, if I say to myself, I want to restrict today, and then I don't, I'm like, poop, I failed. But that's why yesterday was such a good day, because I pushed past all that and was like, no, you're watching the rugby tonight, you're gonna have snacks, it's fine. And I did, and it was just such a good day, and I loved it. As I was saying, like, I'm still so hungry a lot of the time. And I think it's kind of like my body still doesn't trust me. So the days where, for example, on Friday, where I did kind of give into those thoughts, later on in the day, my body was screaming at me like, what the fuck did you do? You can't do that anymore, Ellie. And I was thankful that it did that. And the body is so good at, like, telling you, like, you're being stupid in that kind of way. And I don't know, like, I don't know when my body will trust me again, and that's why I think recovery does take a long time, because, for example, your weight gain starts out in your stomach, because that's where, as a woman, you need protection, and that's where all the weight kind of goes, because you haven't had that protection in so long, and you need it there, and then eventually that weight kind of transfers elsewhere, and you get more even out, etc. But that takes months, okay? So I've just gained weight, so I can't lose that weight, because I know that that weight will, like, kind of even out around my body. But that is still really hard for me to accept, and it's really, really annoying me. But I don't know, like, right now in my mind, it's like, I want to lose weight, and that is the only thing I'm thinking about 24/7. And I haven't been sleeping because of this, and I just wanted to get that out there, because it's that aspect of recovery where you do feel lost, and I'm not going to relapse. I'm definitely not going to go down that route again, because I know that the person I was during my eating disorder, there was no light in me. There was no spark. I was not social. I never smiled. I was never happy. I mean, I didn't really cry. Or did I cry? I don't even remember. Like, it was such a blur. I just know I was such a party pooper. Like, no one wanted to be around me. I pushed everyone away because I just didn't speak. You know what I mean? I had no energy to be happy. I had no energy to talk to people. And no, in fact, I did cry a lot. Hence where that's where my energy went. My energy went into negative thinking, and all I was thinking about was, when am I going to do another workout? Like, when can I fit that in? And okay, I'm not going to eat now, I'm going to eat later. Oh no, I can't eat that now. Like, it was just so consumed by those kind of things, instead of, oh, who am I going to call today? Like, oh, who am I going to see today? Like, oh, I need to get on with work. It wasn't actually helpful things. It was just all those negative things just in my mind, and that's where all my energy went. And thinking about it now, like, recovery, yeah, okay, it's made me healthier, it's made me gain weight, but I just keep thinking about how much joy it has brought me. I am so social this year at uni, if I'm thinking about uni. At the summer, I was so spontaneous and just did so much random shit with people. Went on so many trips. Obviously, I met my boyfriend, which made me even more spontaneous. Because, I mean, our first date was very spontaneous. I think I've told that story before, but I'm not going to go into that now. And I'm just such a better person to be around. Like, I've spoken about this with my flat as well, and they're like, yeah, you are just such a fun person to be around now. And because last year, I mean, I just wasn't social at all. Like, the first time I thought I had to be. I feel like at uni, first year, like, you think you have to go out every night and be that social person. And I did, and that's why I kind of crashed at Christmas, because I'm like, I don't like doing that. I hate doing that. I hate nights out. I feel so guilty the next day, and obviously I still have to work on that. And then when I went back, eventually after Christmas, I mean, I had a few more weeks at home, but I finally went back, and like, all the people there still, like, wanted to be my friend, which, thinking back, I'm like, thank God. But I'd never join them out. Like, if they were in the kitchen watching a film, I isolated myself so much. This year, I'm always doing stuff with them. Yeah, okay, some days I'm like, oh no, I'm going to go to bed tonight, or I don't want to go out tonight. And that is because I'm prioritising myself, but most of the time, like 90% of the time, I'm doing stuff with them. And it just shows how much progress I've made, that I can be a happier person. My skin is way healthier. My hair is healthier. I have way more energy. I mean, it's been annoying because I've been on the pill, so, but oh yeah, I haven't actually said I've come off the pill now, because it was just affecting me in ways I didn't know. Like, I don't feel as tired anymore. Like, being on the pill makes you so tired. My skin has cleared up. I'm way less puffy. And I think that's why in my brain I'm like, oh, okay, like, I like my body now, off the pill. On the pill, I was hating my body because it was so puffy all the time. And I didn't know if that was my weight gain. Like, you know what I mean? I don't think it is a good idea for anyone to be on the pill whilst you're trying to recover, because it just affects with you in so many ways. And looking back, it just wasn't the right decision. But I mean, I have a boyfriend, so I kind of needed to go on it. But it was actually his idea for me to come off it. And I just loved him so much for saying, like, hey, by the way, you know, you don't have to be on the pill. And I was like, oh, he was like, you can come off it, like, we can talk about that. And I was like, you know what, I will. And I do feel so much better from it. But now it's kind of, because I still haven't had a natural period. And I think I've mentioned that time when I went to the hospital when I was on the pill, because I was in excruciating womb pain and I was bleeding. And I was really, really surprised that I was bleeding, because I didn't know that I could still have my period. But apparently on the pill I was on, you could still have your natural period as well as your break. And I realised, because I was, like, prescribed with it for taking 3 packets, so like 3 months worth, and then have a break. And I was still a bit confused why that was the case, but I think it was, thinking back, that was because I didn't have a period, and that was getting my period back. And it did. And that time when I went to the hospital was because like, you have no idea, it was the monster of all periods. I did not know. Like, I woke up at 4 a.m. and I was screaming. It was so painful. And that's not me being dramatic. It was horrible. And my parents took me, like, luckily I was at home. Like, if it was here, God, I don't know what to do. But luckily my parents were there. They took me to the A&E, and they kind of just, like, I was there for 5 hours. My mum thought I was pregnant. I thought I was pregnant because that thought came into my mind. And I was like, shit. I didn't phone my boyfriend because it was 5 a.m. and I should have, but I wasn't pregnant, don't worry. Because the doctor just kind of said, eventually after 5 hours of waiting, oh, this is your period. And I was like, wait, what? Excuse me? And then we kind of spoke about, it was a really nice conversation I had, like, kind of spoke about my eating disorder and the fact that that's why I was so surprised that I had a period. And that was my first period. But then I don't know if it was my actual period or if it was just the pill messing with me. Like, you know what I mean? It was just so, I don't know. So that's kind of why, another reason why I'm off the pill, because I want to see if my period is natural. And yeah, that's kind of the goal I'm working towards. So I know that in the next couple of weeks, if I do stop eating a bit and exercising more and giving into those ED thoughts, I won't have a period, and I still want to work towards having a period. Because again, this time last year, actually, I did have a day of a period, and I cried because I hadn't had one for like 2 years, and I phoned my mum and I was like, Mum, guess what, I'm going to get my tampons, and she was like, what? But then it stopped after a day, so I was like, oh shit. But yeah, I was so happy about that, but then just nothing came after that, and it was kind of sad, like really sad, but you know, and all summer I thought I was going to get my period back because, you know, since May I'd kind of been eating a bit more and exercising a bit less, and it didn't come. So yeah, that made me feel sad, but that is another reason why I'm off the pill. If you are in a similar situation and you're going through recovery, don't go on the pill. I was told to go on it to help get my period back, and I was so against it. But I did, like, I first went on the pill this time last year, not for like sexual reasons, but just for that reason. But I took it for 2 weeks, and it was the wrong pill altogether. I was in a mess. I hurt so much. My womb was just in so much pain because I think it's because my hormones have been so off for so long because of my ED and stuff. So my body was just like, what the fuck is this? So that's why it hurt so much, I think. That's what I can think of. So I just went off it, and like, it didn't help with anything. So, but yeah, I would recommend, having experienced it, like, don't go on the pill because it's not going to help you, because I want to get it back naturally. I had an argument with my gynecologist about this. I was like, I don't want you to put me on the pill because I want it back naturally, because I am struggling with an eating disorder. I want to do it myself. And he was a man, and he just didn't understand. He was like, yeah, but it's not going to happen, is it? And I was like, well, that's just put a downer on my mood. And anyway, I did not like that guy. I was meant to have an appointment. I didn't go, and that's his fault. So I have to keep reminding myself, going back to the whole recovery thing, that I need to keep pushing forward, even if these thoughts are getting so loud. And this is one of the biggest challenges that I've yet to face in my recovery. And it was just going so well, but I now know how non-linear it is. And I'm going to have bad days, and it's been a bad spell recently. But I'm really trying to push past it. And for example, yesterday's snack feast was definitely an example of me pushing past it. But this morning my brain was like, oh my god, you have to restrict today. And I'm like, Ellie, shut up. No, go away. I've also noticed, being in recovery, I thought my anxiety would go down. It's drastically gone up. I don't know why. Because I wanted to be really positive there and say, oh yeah, my anxiety's gone away too. No, it hasn't. It's increased just because of being at uni and just loads of other things like affecting it. But my anxiety is really bad, and I am trying to work towards that. Like, I'm trying to put out my mind, like, work on recovery and replace it rather with work on yourself. And with that will come recovery. And that's what happened at the very start of recovery. I started journaling, meditating, loads of acts of like mindfulness. Sorry, my email just came through then. And yeah, I don't know. I kind of want to wrap this up now in a weird way. That was kind of a quick ending, but I want to wrap this up for my like word of the month. I've really been trying to like put in like thoughts to intentions of the month and the week and the day. Because I always used to do that, and that made me like focus on that. You know, when your week is going so badly and you just need one thing to focus on to get you through it. That's what I used to do. So the word of the week is proud. I want to make myself proud. I want to make my future self proud. And that is something that I think everyone kind of needs to work on, because I want to stop listening to these ED thoughts. I want to get better. I really want to get better. Because, yeah, I just want to make my future self proud, and I want to make my past self proud as well, where she can look up to the future and be like, oh my god, you've recovered. Like, you know what I mean? I want to make every version of myself proud right now, but mainly my present day self proud. Every day I want to wake up and think, I'm so proud of you for doing this today. And yeah, and I've written so many post-it notes around my room, like very positive, like affirmations, like love your body and be proud of yourself and those kind of things, because that helps. Like if you're in any dark patch, physically writing out little notes to yourself does help. It looks so stupid, like people have walked into my room like, what the fuck? Like last year especially, I had my whole mirror was covered in post-it notes, and people were like, that's so weird. But it helps if you, because obviously body checking, for example, is a big thing of mine still, but I've got notes in my mirror saying love your body, etc., because it helps, because I know otherwise I'll look at it and be negative. I still am negative some days, but again, I'm working about that. But yeah, that's kind of just what I wanted to say. Like, I do feel stuck in recovery right now, but it's going to get better. And if you're in a similar situation, I know it's not talked about enough, and the weight gain does obscure your vision so much, but we'll get there, and we'll get there together. So make yourself proud, whether you're in recovery or not. Like, I mean, in general, just make yourself proud each day. And I don't mean by doing a 5k run or getting all your to-do list done. No, by just, I think for me, like making myself proud involves don't be negative and have a good day through positive thoughts and not through what you do. Like through your mindset. That's what I mean. Like make yourself proud by not giving into negative thoughts, not being in a slump all day. You know what I mean? Just making yourself feel better in whatever way you want to do. So that's just kind of what I wanted to say today. So I hope if you're listening to it today, I hope you have a really nice Sunday. I was gonna go to Birmingham today with my friends for shopping, but I've decided to stay here because, you know, I just kind of want to have a Sunday before the week starts, and I've only got 1 week left until it's my reading week, so I'm very happy about that. So yeah, I will speak to you guys soon, and have a good day. Goodbye!